We have a ridiculous amount of Ohio State football updates as the transfer portal is not done yet. We got a visit planned, we got an offer that we sent out, we got a scheduling update, we got a rankings update, we got a ton of stuff to break down, but we got all the time in the world to do it. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Columbus Football 365. If you are an Ohio State football fan, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But before we jump into the video for today, there are some pretty tough names to pronounce in this video. I have to learn an absolutely ridiculous amount of names over the course of this transfer portal period. If I mispronounce someone's name in this video, please correct me down in the comments so I can correct that for the future. But let's jump right into the news for today. Starting off with something from Cleveland.com. The transfer portal is already closed, but players that are still in the portal can still commit to various programs. One could still be on the horizon for Ohio State, as former Dartmouth offensive lineman Vasean Washington will reportedly visit Ohio State on January 23rd. Ohio State's 2026 offensive line is set to return all but one starter from the 2025 team and should be a very veteran group as it stands. The one starter not returning, Tate. An addition of Washington, though, would only further add competition to a room that figures to have some of the fiercest spring and fall practice position battles on the roster. So we all watched the college football playoff. We watched the team that was more dominant on the offensive and defensive line dominated every single game up until the championship game, where I'd say both teams had their plays where they won the battle on the offensive and defensive line. But I don't think it's a stretch at all to say the teams with the two best lines overall were the teams that made it to the championship game in Miami and Indiana. They were absolutely dominant on both of the lines of scrimmage throughout their entire college football playoff run, and that's what Ohio State needs to be able to build for the future. Over the last 2 years, we've had some fantastic defensive lines, but in 2025, where we fell short of our ultimate goal of winning the national championship, is where we felt like our offensive line was something that let us down. The guy we're currently looking at on the screen is Tate, the player who left Ohio State's offensive line in the transfer portal. He moved around, bounced between left guard and right guard, and really in and out of the starting lineup, which is never something that you really want to do. The best offensive lines, you're able to stay healthy, which is a luxury that you can't really plan for, but you need to have consistency over the course of the year, and that is what Ohio State is going for in the future. Now, let's check out this recruit who has a visit planned to Columbus on the 23rd. This is Vasean Washington. Last played at Dartmouth, entered the transfer portal, currently does not have a grade on 24/7 Sports. That doesn't mean that he is not good enough to have a grade. It's likely that they just haven't gotten around to giving Washington a grade in the portal. There are thousands of players that 24/7 had to get a grip on. So we can cut them some slack here by not giving Washington a grade, but he's an offensive tackle out of the Ivy League, 6'5", 285 pounds. So pretty big guy, not the biggest thing in the world when it comes to tackles. When you're looking at teams like Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, we get some of the biggest offensive linemen around. So while that is a very good size for a college football player, it's we've seen bigger, but still, good size. We'll take that. As a prospect, a 2-star recruit coming out of originally the state of Ohio, which is something you love to see. Little hometown connection there. Maybe grew up rooting for the Ohio State Buckeyes, so we will take any advantage that we can possibly get in that department. An offensive tackle rated as the 285th offensive tackle coming out when he came out as a recruit. Springfield High School in Springfield, Ohio. So like I said before, Ohio guy. What I like about bringing in a veteran out of the transfer portal is one of the biggest talking points about Indiana's national championship is the fact that they did it with a roster that their average age rivaled some average ages of NFL rosters. So everyone loves the way that Indiana put together their team. College football has changed a lot over the past couple seasons, and we are going to see in the future. We can't really tell for sure right now whether or not that is going to be the new norm or the other side of the coin, that may not be repeatable. So, but right now I do like bringing in the veterans, building a team like Indiana, I think could serve Ohio State very, very well in the short term for 2026 and for the long term when we learn how to build rosters in this new NIL/transfer portal era. But you may be saying, Matt, did you say Indiana? Last time that I checked, Ohio State will be matching up with the defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers in 2026, but the Big Ten has been releasing the schedule in drips and drabs, and we do not know when we would be playing the Hoosiers. That is no longer. We have our announcement here from Big Ten football themselves on X. 1 week from today, the Big Ten football schedule will be revealed. So that will be Tuesday night, January 27th. We'll be getting our full schedule for our season next year. We know our second game is going to be at Texas. We know our final game will be versus the team up north. We now know that national champion Indiana will host 2025's or 2024 into 2025's national champion Ohio State in a Big Ten championship game rematch on October 17th. This game will be taking place in Bloomington and should be an absolutely amazing matchup, something that I absolutely cannot wait for. The Big Ten championship game was absolutely phenomenal this year. I feel like we were, us and Miami were the two teams that were able to give Indiana trouble in the postseason. I know everyone likes to call out the fact that Penn State gave them trouble during the regular season, but we know Indiana really turned it on after the year was over and we were able to hang with them. Really should have beaten them in that game, but that is what it is. Cannot wait for the 17th of October. Later this year now, got to get used to saying that. That should be an absolutely fantastic game. Cannot wait to see Indiana again. Let's get some revenge, which is absolutely insane to be saying. But we also have more news here. We're talking a whole lot about the transfer portal. I hope you didn't forget about good old-fashioned recruiting. Coming from Cleveland.com, Ohio State offered 2027 safety Jayden Aparicio-Bailey on Monday as safeties coach Matt Guerrieri stayed busy on the recruiting trail. Aparicio-Bailey is the number 233rd overall prospect and number 25 safety in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings in the 2027 class. The Buckeyes already have a blue chip safety in Eli Johnson committed in the class, and now they're in search of a pairing on the back end. So, we're still getting involved in the recruiting game. Jayden Aparicio-Bailey has received an offer from Ohio State. He is a safety standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing 180 pounds, currently ranked as a 3-star prospect according to 24/7 Sports, rated as an 89 overall, the number 32 player in his class, and the number 11 player in the state of Alabama. He hails from Birmingham, Alabama, so you may be asking yourself, does Alabama have a bit of an inside track on him? The answer would be yes. Rivals has Alabama at a 10.8% chance of landing this player, which is higher than Ohio State's very small chance. Let's actually get over to that graphic right now. According to, this is now from Rivals, they are predicting this player to be heading over to South Carolina with they're giving him a 40.3% chance as he was recruited by Torian Gray, who is the defensive backs coach for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Ohio State, my face cam is covering it a little bit, but less than 1% is the prediction for Jayden Aparicio-Bailey to join our program, which is a little bit unfortunate. So right now, our insiders are telling us that it is likely that we will not be receiving this commit, but it is something that I am going to be bringing up and make sure everyone understands what is going on. One final thing for this video from On3, they released nope, that's not what it is. The AP poll, the voters came together one last time. They put out their final rankings for the year of 2025, and Ohio State ranked as the 5th best team in the country when it's all said and done. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Ohio State dropping 2 spots at the end, but we finished just behind Oregon and 2 spots behind Ole Miss. Unfortunately, was not able to finish the deal as we were hoping, but hey, in a year that many did not expect to even go this well, it's tough to sit here and be like, oh, it still was a good year, because it still was a good year. We weren't expected to be, the favorites coming out, although it is easy to readjust your expectations after pretty much an entire season of being ranked number 1, but I still am, pretty happy for, Indiana and their fans. They deserve to have a national championship after being one of the worst programs in all of college football for all of time. Make it to the mountaintop in what is one of the best football stories, college football stories, sports stories of all time. Got to respect everything that team is doing it. They're doing it absolutely the right way. Nothing but respect for Indiana, but we are coming for that number 1 spot next season. On 3 already in their way too early predictions has Ohio State predicted as the number 1 ranked team for the 2026 season. I already can't wait, but we got a lot of time in between now and then. We got a lot of news going to be coming out, and I'll be covering it all right here each and every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. If you stuck around this long in the video, thank you for taking the time to watch it all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Buckeyes.